And WOCA, the source.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Do you know today is National... Hold on, I got the list here. It's National Limerick Day.
Wow.
Did you know today is National Odometer Day?
That's
Go
cool.
take a road trip somewhere. Did you know today is National Nutty Fudge Day?
Gosh.
And it's also National Fibromyalgia Awareness Day.
That's awesome.
So we're not going to talk about fibromyalgia, but we are talking about rheumatology. I don't know if there's a connection or not. Mary Wheatley is on the phone. She's the executive director of the Rheumatology Research Foundation. She oversees a series of new initiatives and research awards and grants. She's one of the Association Forum's 40 Under 40. I used to be one of those from
Me too.
a long time ago. She's going to talk about the current outlook for rheumatic diseases and the research that will be needed, as well as the 30th anniversary of the Rheumatology Research Foundation. And May 19th, speaking of days, May 19th is Giving Day, it says here. National Arthritis Awareness Month is the month we're in, I believe. Good morning, Mary Wheatley. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm based in Atlanta, just up the road from you.
Not too far. No. How's the weather in Atlanta? Nice?
It's looking, it might be okay today.
Oh, sounds like not too good.
Yeah.
So is rheumatology, what is rheumatology? Let me just ask it that way.
That's a great question. You were actually really close, Larry, when you said fibromyalgia. That actually is one of the rheumatic diseases that we're going to talk about today. So we know that there are 11 million Americans that live with some type of rheumatic disease, and there are hundreds of them. And they range from everything from juvenile arthritis that affects kids to rheumatoid arthritis that affects adults, and lupus and systemic sclerosis. There are lots of different diseases in this area.
Okay, so what is the difference between rheumatoid arthritis and what's the other kind that people always say?
Juvenile arthritis?
Oh, juvenile.
Arthritis in general.
Okay. Yeah, I guess in general. I mean, juvenile, I understand that would mean a child has it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These diseases are autoimmune and inflammatory diseases.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they're destructive. They destroy. Isn't that what autoimmune means? They destroy your body.
It means that your body has an immune response to the disease, so it has a reaction to it, and that's one of the reasons that research is so important, and that's what we're interested in, is kind of what causes these diseases, how do they affect people, and then how do we treat them.
How did you become the executive director of this? I mean, did you go through this? Is this something your family has a connection with?
You know, it is so personal for everyone. With this many people affected, we all know someone who's affected by these diseases. And my background is actually in research. And one of the really exciting things about coming to the foundation, I've been here about 7 years now, is being able to see the impact that we can make in patients' lives. And so over the past 30 years, we've been able to see people go from crippling disease in wheelchairs to living healthy, thriving lives because of the treatments that have advanced so drastically over this time period.
How do you get the people to participate in your studies?
So patient recruitment is always a challenge. We work with academic centers across the country, and we'll be working with practices across the country in the coming years to help talk to patients about why research is so important and how they can contribute. We have patients who drive hours to see a rheumatologist and to be involved in clinical studies with them.
Wow.
Oh, really? So somebody, a doctor who's a specialist in rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatology in general, would benefit somebody with rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatology. I'm trying to think what's the big blanket? What's the blanket word I should be saying?
They're rheumatologists.
Okay.
Yeah, another ologist. But rheumatologists are really the best people to care for these patients because a lot of times people will go undiagnosed for many years. You know, they have chronic pain, they have joint inflammation, they're not sure what's going on. But if we can get them connected to a rheumatologist or a pediatric rheumatologist, they're going to get the correct diagnosis and they're going to get a treatment plan that works for them.
So does a treatment plan reverse it at all, or does it just prevent it from getting worse?
It really depends on the patient and the disease, but a lot of times it just prevents it from getting worse, and that's why early detection is so important.
That's what I was wondering. So if you catch it really early, you might avoid being crippled by the disease.
You're absolutely right. And some of the research that we're funding right now is actually looking at the causes of disease, and we're finding that it's genetic for a lot of people. And so it will be easier in the future to do a simple test and see if you're at risk and be able to come up with a plan that's going to work for you so that you don't have joint damage.
If you can do these tests, can you do the test to a baby in the womb?
Not yet, but that's an interesting question. I'm sure that's a direction we'll look at in the future.
So tell me about Giving Day. What is that?
Well, the Rheumatology Research Foundation, as we mentioned, turns 30 this year. And so to celebrate, on May 19th, we're having a Giving Day, and we're asking people to join us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, and share their stories. Because as we've mentioned, it's so personal and so many people are affected. We want to know, why is this so important to you, the work that we're doing? And so you can get in touch with us by following us on Twitter. It's at Rheum Research. That's at RHEUM Research. And on Facebook as well.
Okay. Now, what have you seen? Have you seen people getting the treatments and make great changes in their lives for the better?
Oh, definitely. If we can get these patients to a rheumatology clinic where they can get the proper care, we're seeing them just have great quality of life with the new treatments that are on the market now, from biologics to injectables. They just help so much more quickly than some of our past treatments that were available 30 years ago.
Is the treatment surgical in any way?
Only in the most extreme cases, but we're really seeing that not be as prevalent now because we are catching it a lot earlier.
When people are diagnosed with one of these diseases, do some of them make them non-ambulatory?
Not as much anymore, but that certainly still happens. I mean, there are people on disability because of rheumatic disease, and people in wheelchairs because of rheumatic disease, and people that die because of rheumatic disease. And that's why it's so important to get the word out about what we're doing and how we can make an impact.
And where does it affect you? I'm guessing the joints, like your knees and your fingers, and but is it anywhere? Could it be in your jaw? Where could it? I mean, that'd be horrible, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You're right. It really depends on the disease, but you're absolutely right. It's musculoskeletal, so it really affects your bones and your joints for the most part, and can cause a lot of muscle pain and inflammation as well. But yeah, arms and legs are typically the most affected, and hands and feet.
So before we had all the technology that we have today, like let's say 150 years or more ago, I mean, what were people doing? Just putting him in warm water or ice or?
It's pretty wild. Gold was actually a treatment.
Gold.
Back in the day, yes. And I've heard stories of a few patients who still swear by it, and I can't speak to what exactly they thought.
Well, I can see that. You find a doctor who's really good, give him some gold, and he'll fix you.
Is rheumatoid arthritis more prevalent in the United States, or is this something that happens worldwide, and are there different treatments in other areas of the world?
It happens worldwide, but we have a really great connected network of care right now where I feel like the treatments are pretty much the same in most of the developed countries. There's availability of the same types of drugs and treatments.
The one thing I know always happens when we have an interview like this is the listeners will ask for a book or a website. Do you have a website or a book that you can recommend?
We do have a website. It's rheumresearch.org. That's RHEUM research.org.
Okay, and what was the Facebook page again?
It's actually the same. So you can just search Rheum Research on Facebook or Twitter, and you'll find us.
Oh, okay, I see. And have you seen? How long have you been there actually?
About 7 years. 7.
So a lot has changed in 7 years, technology-wise. Has it affected what you do for a profession?
Oh, definitely. When I started, it's affected everything. I think technology has helped us streamline a lot of our awards and grants, and the way that we communicate with our different audiences and increase visibility about what we're doing. But we've also been able to significantly increase our investment just over the past decade. When I came on board, we were funding $6 or $7 million a year, and now we're funding $12 to $14 million a year.
Is Parkinson's considered a rheumatic disease?
It is not, but it's actually really interesting. A lot of our researchers work in interdisciplinary teams, and so they look at some of the connections between people who may have more than one disease, which is pretty common.
Oh my!
And does it advance at different rates depending on the person? Like, does somebody get it today and it's inflamed maximum tomorrow? Maybe not that quickly, literally, but you know what I mean. Could somebody get the first signs of rheumatoid arthritis, let's say at 17, and really live a whole full life without ever having anything manifest itself fully?
As long as they're receiving care from a rheumatologist, that's absolutely the best case scenario that we could hope for. It does advance at different rates depending on the individual patient and just their general state of health. But again, that's why it's so important to get these patients to rheumatologists, because they're the best ones to help them come up with a plan, a treatment plan that's going to work for them.
Does the treatment plan include lifestyle changes like eating or exercising?
It often does. Increased weight increases the pressure on your joints and your bones, and so a lot of times we see that helps tremendously in addition with the rest of your treatment plan, but weight loss and diet certainly help.
All right. Well, Mary, you've given us more information. I think I'm going to retain probably about 1% of that. It's so much. All right, Mary Wheatley, thank you for being on. The website is rheumresearch.org, and Rheum is RHEUM, as in rheumatology. Or Rheumatoid, rheumresearch.org. And don't forget, May 19th is Giving Day. Go to their Facebook page and contribute that way. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
You got it. Thanks so much.
Good information. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. More destruction in Nepal hit by a new quake which has killed dozens.
Some survivors reportedly pulled from the wreckage, and U.S. Marines and others have been helping to distribute aid from the last quake, so they may be well placed to help get the new injured to hospitals.
Fox Radio's Alistair Wanklin, the attorney for New England Patriot Tom Brady, looking to block his punishment over improperly inflated footballs with an appeal.
John Yee told ESPN the discipline is ridiculous and has no legitimate basis. In my opinion, this outcome was predetermined. There was no fairness in the Wells investigation whatsoever. Well, the league says Brady was not fully candid and refused to share his emails and texts. They also suspended indefinitely those two locker room guys, including the one who called himself the Deflator.
Fox's Rick Leventhal. And Food Network star Sandra Lee announcing she has breast cancer and will undergo a double mastectomy. Fox News. We report, you decide.
It's been a long day. You've walked through 18 open houses, and you're pretty sure 10 of them have been ignored since the 80s. Your feet hurt, and your head is buzzing with words like Wayne